Tonight, a sacred fire and buffalo feast. How Manitobans are marking the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. Also tonight, giving the green light.
Having that light going green for them and they can go forward and they don't have to hesitate.
How traffic light technology could expand across the city and what it could mean for emergency response times. Plus, an extra serving of summer.
The more the sun shines, the more the people come out.
Winnipeggers bask in summer-like temperatures. How much longer will this sunny weather stick around?
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. On the eve of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, Manitobans are preparing to pause and reflect on the impact of residential schools and remember the children who never made it home. Live tonight with more is CTV's Danton Unger. So Danton, how has this day been marked so far here in Winnipeg?
Merely early this morning, residential school survivors, Indigenous elders, and Winnipeg police officers gathered together for a somber ceremony, a first of its kind for the Winnipeg Police Service. Just after sunrise this morning, a sacred fire was lit outside the downtown station. It will be maintained for 24 hours in recognition of truth and reconciliation. Now, out of respect, media has been asked not to show the fire. Winnipeg Police Chief Gene Bowers says this is the first time the service has done something like this, and he hopes it serves as a reminder.
As a police service, we carry a profound duty. More than serving and protecting, that duty is about listening, learning, and repairing relationships. We must acknowledge that at times the relationship between police and Indigenous communities has been strained, marked with harm and mistrust.
The police service noted this sacred fire as an opportunity to put words into action, reflect on the past, and move forward in a good way, while some residential school survivors at the ceremony say this was a true act of reconciliation. Meanwhile, over at Nadinawaymak, our relatives' place, Winnipeg's vulnerable and unhoused community were invited to participate in a special ceremony honoring survivors and their families. A sacred buffalo ceremony was held just outside the shelter on Disraeli Freeway this morning, hosted by Kiwetinook and Innu Minnewaywin. Those at the ceremony were invited to enjoy a buffalo feast prepared by students in the Culinary Skills Indigenous program at Red River College Polytechnic and receive free harm reduction education. The ceremony aims to restore cultural teachings and strengthen community connection.
I'm wanting the wider community of Winnipeg and Manitoba to recognize how important this crew of people here are. I'm not talking about the staff I have. I'm talking about the people who have enough courage to come to this ceremony, even when they might have really nothing, not even a bed to sleep on. They're the ones who we have to honor and be courageous to. And that's what the buffalo does for us.
Kim CEO Barry Lavallee says while this ceremony is a win for the community, there's still a long way to go before reconciliation is fully achieved across Canada. He points to the disproportionate number of Indigenous people experiencing homelessness in Winnipeg.
Danton, what other ways can Manitobans mark Truth and Reconciliation Day tomorrow?
Well, Marilee, our digital team has put together a full list of all sorts of different ceremonies and events happening throughout the day tomorrow, including the Southern Chiefs Organization's Healing Walk and Powwow. That's starting at 10 a.m. at the Forks. Now, all that information is available on our website. Just head to ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. All
right, thanks for this, Danton. And a number of downtown roads will be closed tomorrow during that healing walk. The walk is happening along a route running from the Forks to RBC Convention Center. Roads impacted include Main Street from York Avenue to Portage Avenue and Portage from Main to Edmonton Street. Those closures run from 10 to 4. And Edmonton Street from Portage to the Convention Center will also be closed from 8 to 5. The federal and provincial governments are pitching in to help build a new 72-unit apartment building in Winnipeg to help fight the ongoing housing crisis. The building is going up at 1510 Main Street. 2 levels of government plus partners are funding the project to the tune of almost $30 million. The property is owned by Inuka, a Community Inc., a Black women-led community real estate developer. Inuka wants to see more community-owned, energy-efficient, affordable housing for low to moderate income households.
Inuka has recruited over 100 potential tenants who are all low-income folks who would have been screened out of the process, and we've been supporting them to improve their credit scores and save some funds.
The complex features 30 one-bedroom units, 30 two-bedroom units, and 12 three-bedroom units. More than 40% of the rents will be heavily discounted so more families can afford to live there. The province is restructuring the way it delivers home care in Winnipeg in an effort to reduce cancelled appointments.
There's no finish line for our government. Our priority is making sure that we are hiring as many healthcare workers and home care workers as possible.
Health Minister Yusoma Asagara says the government is committed to hiring hundreds of more workers. And while recruitment remains underway, starting Wednesday, shifts for scheduling clerks are being adjusted for predictability and coverage. Clerks will once again be assigned a primary geographic area, resulting in less travel time, which should cut back on cancellations. The changes come after the province moved to a centralized model, which saw a rash of canceled appointments, resulting in families speaking out. Asagara says the province is also making policy and protocol changes.
We know that our population is aging. We know that there are many folks who want to age in place in their communities. And so our expectation as a government is that the WRHA will, from now on, annually assess home care and better understand the needs of the clients and what that means in terms of how many home care workers we need.
Since the fall of 2023, the WRHA says it's hired 250 new healthcare aides and 32 scheduling clerks. And starting Wednesday, home care workers will also start receiving the same benefits and pension as other healthcare workers. The provincial government is sharing plans it says will bolster the number of addictions treatment spaces in Manitoba.
For individuals, they offer cultural, grounded care that affirm identity and promotes recovery. For families, they help restore relationships and break cycles of trauma. And for communities, they strengthen resilience, rebuild trust in health system, and foster collective well-being.
Addictions Minister Bernadette Smith says funding will create 400 new treatment spaces. $1.5 million is being directed to the Interlake Reserves Tribal Council to establish withdrawal management services in 5 communities. And almost $500,000 will be used to expand virtual services at the Aboriginal Health and Wellness Centre's RAM Clinic. Earlier this year, the province spent $2.4 million to open 800 day and evening treatment spaces led by Indigenous organizations. Well, you'd never think it was almost October by taking a walk outside. We are still enjoying summer-like temperatures. CTV's Harrison Shin shows you how Winnipeggers are soaking up the sun.
Winnipeggers like Coral de Longchamp were out enjoying unseasonably warm weather on Monday. She went for a walk at the Assiniboine Park with her friend.
We just came for a walk because it's such a nice day. Yeah, the colors are nice. They're beautiful this time of year.
And Environment and Climate Change Canada confirms the weather is exceptional indeed.
It's very significant. We think of our temperature this time of the year being 15 degrees for a normal high, and we're looking at 10 degrees above that. So it's really a significant amount of temperature deviation from that sort of normal expected conditions.
Over in Osborne Village, Peter Harmon is enjoying the sun.
Patios are my favorite thing to do in Winnipeg. Everybody's so friendly. The more the sun shines, the more the people come out.
Finn McCool's is enjoying the extended patio season. So far, customers are taking advantage.
They're just loving the weather. People, they walk in the front door, take a look around, and see that the patio's open. They're like, we'll sit outside. I think we're going to go right until until we can't anymore.
And Michelle Carlson couldn't agree more.
It's beautiful out today. Couldn't be better. Oh, just basically trying to enjoy it outside as long as we can.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at this sunny Skywatch forecast. Colleen, you are loved these days. This is the fall we all hoped for.
This is making my job pretty easy, although I know a lot of folks do like temperatures that are more in keeping for this time of year. You will get your wish soon enough because, yes, the temperatures will be changing. But yesterday in Manitoba, many communities in the south smashed heat records. Places like McCreary, Carberry, Deerwood, and Portage La Prairie reached at least 30 degrees Celsius, if not hotter. There were other communities that came very close to that. Winnipeg got to about 27.5 degrees yesterday for a peak temperature. Today, not quite as warm across the south, but still well above where we ought to be for this time of year. Tomorrow, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, a hot end to September, and it will be a hot start to October before things do start to change. I'll show you when coming up. Let's take a look right now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, some cloud has started to move in. It's 22 degrees, winds out of the east-northeast at 29 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 37%.
Thanks, Colleen. Firefighters responded to a fire at an industrial building Sunday. It broke out around 8:40 in the morning at Inkster Industrial Park. Crews were called to a fire at a single-story building in the 0 to 100 block of Milner Street. When they arrived, they found an outdoor fire had extended to the building. Crews launched an exterior attack before moving inside. The fire was brought under control in about an hour and a half. No injuries were reported. It's technology that turns traffic lights green as fire trucks and ambulances approach, saving them valuable seconds in response time. And now it could be used across Winnipeg. Results of a one-year pilot project testing emergency vehicle preemption at 17 intersections shows the technology got first responders to the scene faster. To explain, CTV's Jeff Keel joins us now live. So, Jeff, how much did the use of this technology cut back on response times?
A report estimates between 15 and 20%. As this ambulance travels northbound in Osborne Village, the traffic lights turn green, allowing the emergency vehicle to get through the normally congested area without slowing down.
We're looking to see how we could expand this.
A one-year pilot project ended in April. 9 fire trucks and ambulances from 5 different stations were outfitted with wireless technology, connected to traffic signals at 17 intersections in the Osborne and Pembina areas. It's known as Emergency Vehicle Preemption, or EVP. As fire trucks and ambulances approach intersections, the traffic lights turn green, clearing the way. A report estimates this shaved 15 to 20% off response times. Plus, the technology reduces collisions between drivers and first responders.
Having that light going green for them and they can go forward, they don't have to hesitate, I think that definitely is more of a positive reaction.
The report from the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service says the pilot results merit doing this citywide at 437 high-risk intersections at a cost of $1.8 million and operating costs of $200,000.
Time will tell whether this does have a measurable impact on response times. We're not really interested in estimates.
The Firefighters Union supports EVP, but says it's no replacement for what's really needed to cut down on response times: more fire trucks and ambulances on the road.
Even if we achieved an optimistic 15 to 20%, we would still be far behind comparable cities, which is not acceptable for Winnipeggers.
The chair of the Community Services Committee says she is in discussions with the fire paramedic chief on other solutions beyond the preemption project.
And this is just one of those pieces to the puzzle.
Now, in terms of actual time, the WFPS says EVP could reduce response times by at least 1 minute.
Jeff, do we know how long it would take to implement this citywide?
Yeah, the report says starting in 2026, this would take a couple of years, and during that time, 3 temporary staff would have to be hired.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Winnipeg police are asking for your help tracking down 2 paintings stolen from an art gallery warehouse. In mid-August, someone got into the warehouse by breaking a window and took the 2 paintings. Lady of the Lake, a 2021 oil painting by Marianne Thompson depicting the Grace Anne II, an 85-foot mahogany yacht built in the early 1930s, was one of the 2 paintings. Police say the other painting stolen is titled First Snow of the Season by artist Ida McKenzie. The 2 paintings are worth a total of about $9,000. If you have any information about the stolen paintings, you're asked to call the Major Crimes Unit or Crime Stoppers. The Manitoba Liberal Party has a new leader by acclamation. Former Winnipeg Blue Bomber Willard Reeves announced his leadership bid earlier this month. He was the only person to enter the race after Dougald Lamont stepped down following the 2023 election. Manitoba Liberal President Terry Hayward says the party hopes Reeves can rebuild and grow its numbers in the legislature in the next provincial election. The party currently has just one seat in the 57-seat legislature. Reeves will work with interim leader Cindy Lamoureux to transition into the position over the next few weeks. Work at the Manitoba legislature resumes Wednesday, and the opposition Conservatives say they're ready to take on Premier Wab Kinew and the NDP.
We're happy to be back in the chamber, holding Wab Kinew and the NDP to account after a summer of chaos across Manitoba.
The PCs went through a laundry list of grievances today at the Ledge. It says the NDP government botched this summer's wildfire response and reneged on a province to fix health care. The PCs are urging the New Democrats to pass a bill called Debbie's Law, named for Debbie Fuster, who died while waiting for heart surgery.
It requires health authorities to inform patients when life-saving treatment can't be provided in a timely manner and discuss options for treatment outside of Manitoba. It also requires mandatory reporting of all deaths linked to care delays for serious medical conditions.
The fall session of the Manitoba legislature is slated to run until November 6th. Advanced voting is now open in the city's upcoming by-election. Voters will be able to cast ballots for a councillor in the Elmwood East Kildonan ward, as well as school trustees for Louis Riel School Division Ward 3 and Pembina Trails School Division Ward 1. Advanced voting can now be done at the City Clerk's Department at City Hall weekdays between 9 and 4. Community advanced voting locations for each ward are up on your screen. They'll be open between 4 and 8 between October 14th and 16th. Remember, you'll need to bring some valid ID. The by-election is scheduled for October 25th. The federal government has ordered an appeal to the conviction of a First Nations man 14 years after his death in the killing of a Winnipeg restaurant worker. Russell Woodhouse was one of 4 First Nations men found guilty of fatally beating and stabbing Ting Fong Chan in 1973. The other men, including Woodhouse's brother Clarence, were exonerated after courts found they were wrongfully convicted, and the case involved systemic discrimination. Russell Woodhouse died in 2011. A review found reasonable grounds to conclude there was likely a miscarriage of justice in his case. It's the first time a post-mortem conviction review has granted a remedy under the criminal code. After being closed for close to 2.5 years, an arena in Brandon is set to reopen this week. The City of Brandon says the community sportsplex ice arena on Knowlton Drive will reopen Wednesday. The arena has been closed since March 2023 amid safety concerns over an aging ammonia ice plant. Since then, city staff have worked to assess the facility, engage with the public, and invest in repairs. The city says public programming at the arena will begin October 1st, with arena rentals starting on October 6th. Winnipeg is home to a few more trees today after a tree planting event Saturday afternoon. Volunteers gathered at Optimist Park to plant trees and shrubs. It was part of a nationwide initiative known as National Tree Day, led by Tree Canada. Tree Canada said the initiative is to grow greener communities and says the benefits go well beyond adding oxygen to the air we breathe.
We have so many other reasons, though. We have erosion protection. We have the protection of our native species of animals and insects and birds that live around here as well. So we want to be catering to all those aspects.
The event marked the final day of National Forest Week. If you make minimum wage, you are about to get a raise. We will explain after the break. And caught on video, a United States Customs and Border agent shouting at an Ontario driver. Why the U.S. Border Agency is now investigating.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Winnipeg, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Taking a look at the markets tonight, the November crude oil contract was down to $63.45 US a barrel. The Canadian dollar climbed to $71.83 US. Gold up more than $46. The TSX gained more than 210 points today. The Dow Jones was ahead more than 68 points, while the Nasdaq was up more than 107 points. If you make minimum wage, you're about to get a raise. Manitoba's minimum wage goes up October 1st from $15.80 an hour to $16 an hour. Ontario, Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia and PEI will also see minimum wage hikes Wednesday. All provinces have raised their rates this year as Canadians continue to struggle with the high cost of living. Some Starbucks locations here in Winnipeg, as well as across the country, are closed.
This is a neighborhood spot, so it's kind of sad that they're closing.
The CEO of Starbucks, Brian Nickel, said approximately 1% of all the company's locations in North America will be closed by the end of the fiscal year. That's about 400 locations. It's unclear how many of those stores are in Canada, but dozens of locations across Ontario, BC, and Alberta closed their doors this weekend. In an open letter, Nichols said, "We open and close coffee houses for a variety of reasons, from financial performance to lease expirations. Employees will be offered transfers to other nearby stores or will receive severance packages if they cannot be moved to another shop." Many businesses and individuals in Manitoba are looking for alternatives to Canada Post this week as Postal Service remains shut down for the second time in less than a year. 55,000 workers walked off the job last week after the government announced sweeping changes, including the end to door-to-door mail delivery within the next decade. Canada Post says, in light of those changes, it's reassessing its offer to the Canadian Union of Postal Workers and will present a new offer as soon as possible. The union says the planned changes are a direct assault on the public post office and good unionized jobs. The strike is also affecting services at Manitoba Public Insurance. Autopack statements, checks, and licenses cannot be sent by mail. MPI says you are still responsible for making your payments on time, but don't send those checks in the mail. Instead, go to MPI's website to make a payment online. If you're expecting a check or new driver's license, or if you have questions about your insurance, you can visit your closest MPI outlet. You'll need to bring ID, though, to pick up a check. Police are calling the shooting at a church in Michigan that left 5 people dead, including the suspect, a targeted act of violence.
Evil. This was an evil act of violence.
The suspect has been identified as Thomas Jacob Sanford, a 40-year-old former Marine from a nearby town. He's accused of crashing his vehicle through the front doors of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints before opening fire. He then set fire to the church before he was killed in a shootout with police. 8 other people were hospitalized. Oregon's governor is hitting back at U.S. President Donald Trump after he ordered National Guard members to the city.
There is no insurrection, there is no threat to national security, and there is no need for military troops in our major city.
In response to Trump, Oregon has responded by suing the Trump administration, arguing the deployment of the National Guard is unlawful. At least 200 National Guard members will be sent to Portland to protect federal property where protests are occurring or likely to occur. That's according to U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Saturday, Trump said he's authorized the use of full force if needed to suppress protests targeting immigration detention centers. Now to some troubling incident caught on video. A United States Customs and Border agent appears to shout at an Ontario driver, telling them to never come back to the U.S. again. The video shows a man who appears to be wearing the agency's uniform driving close behind the filming driver before pulling up beside them. This happened near the Lewiston Bridge port of entry in upstate New York. The driver says the vehicle honked at them after noticing the Ontario license plates. The U.S. Border Agency has not confirmed if the man in the video is an employee, but says it's investigating the incident. Ottawa and Ontario offered Canada's last remaining independent steel producer a financial lifeline today. It's aimed at helping the company find new markets and make new products as it tries to pivot to be less reliant on the U.S. in the face of punishing metals tariffs. CTV's Rachel Aiello on the support for Algoma Steel and how it's meant to be applied.
The federal and provincial governments are loaning this Ontario steel plant $500 million.
I think the critical part of it is it gives us the liquidity to pivot our business towards the future of Canada.
The bulk of the financial support, $400 million, is the first to come from a program Ottawa launched in March to help Canadian companies affected by Trump's tariffs. That money and the other $100 million the government of Ontario is lending is to help Algoma afford new equipment and retrain its workers, as the 50% tariff from the United States has effectively closed off what has for decades been a key market for this and other Canadian steelmakers.
If we don't have Canadian-owned steel companies, then we are vulnerable to the whims of other countries, other markets, and we can't have that.
The steel sector has already seen more than 1,000 layoffs since the trade war started.
The prospect of more is growing every day.
Both the minister and the local MPP framed the loan as an investment in Canadian industry.
We are fighting to protect a company that is truly a Canadian institution.
But the federal Conservatives said they'll be scanning the fine print.
Mark Carney is repeating the same Liberal talking points of the last 10 years, claiming that when he borrows and spends, it is an investment.
A federal official told CTV News today that Algoma is so far the only steel company in Canada to apply for this funding. Its CEO estimated today that it could take 18 months to 2 years for Algoma's plans to pivot to a domestic market to fully materialize. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
New details tonight about the shooting death of a Canadian man killed while on a golf trip to Wisconsin. The suspect arrested and charged for the killing made a court appearance today. We'll show you what unfolded next.
Well, if you like the heat, you'll like the front end of the long-range forecast. If you want cooler fall temperatures, you'll like the other end of the long-range forecast. At the front end, 27, 28 degrees Wednesday and Thursday under a mix of sun and cloud and sunshine. Clouding over and starting to cool off on Friday, 22 degrees, although that's still well above normal for this time of year. Into the weekend we go. Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud, 21 degrees, 16 our high Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud, but with the possibility of showers too.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
We're learning more tonight about the shooting death of a Canadian man killed on a golf trip to Wisconsin. The suspect arrested and charged with first-degree reckless homicide made a court appearance today. CTV's John Vinavalli-Rao has been watching this story closely.
The accused made a video appearance in a Wisconsin courthouse. 35-year-old Luis Cruz Burgos read his rights using a Spanish interpreter and charged with first-degree reckless homicide in the death of Mike Robinson, who grew up in Stouffville, Ontario, and who'd been on a golfing trip with friends and family when things went horribly wrong. A murder that stunned locals.
I'm shocked. I don't even really know what to say.
This was Robinson last week celebrating a hole-in-one. Afterwards, he and 3 other men went to celebrate at a bar in Sheboygan, which is north of Milwaukee. A criminal complaint lays out how Robinson and the others tried to get an Uber back to their hotel at around midnight, and failing that, approached Cruz Burgos, a DoorDash driver, for 9 months and tried to negotiate paying him for a lift. Police obtained surveillance picking up the sound of their interaction. One man said he wasn't going to give the driver $40 for 5 minutes of work, and they walked away. Another man said Cruz Burgos drove off, but then doubled back. That's when he heard a pop and Robinson say, "I'm dying." The 32-year-old passed away from a single gunshot wound to the chest. His wife gave birth to a baby girl just 6 weeks ago.
My brother was one of a kind, and he touched a lot of people's hearts.
That charge has not been proven yet.
In the criminal complaint, Cruz Burgos claims the men called him stupid and one of them flipped him off, and he says he didn't shoot anyone. In court, authorities said he has no known criminal record. Upon news of his arrest, the Robinson family issued a statement to local media expressing our deepest gratitude to the police department for acting swiftly and making the arrest. If convicted, Cruz Burgos could face up to 60 years in prison. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe has been set up to support Robinson's family, which has so far raised almost $250,000. John Benavalli-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Not quite as hot as it was on Sunday, but today the highest temperature in Manitoba, Gretna, 25.9 degrees, still well above normal for this time of year. And yes, it will be an outright hot day in parts of the province tomorrow, but until then, there's some parts of the province that will actually get quite cool tonight, and I'm talking in parts of the south as well. So things are gradually starting to change, but the night ahead starts out sunny, a little windy too, with these winds actually coming straight out of the east right now. They will diminish in a few hours or so. We'll have lighter winds throughout the latter half of the evening and overnight and into tomorrow, when they will start to actually really strengthen once again. But there's also a little bit of instability over the noon hour. We did have some non-severe thunderstorms riding right along the international border close to Winkler and Altona. There's still the chance of that yet tonight, including here in Winnipeg and across the south over into northwestern Ontario. The chance still low. Through the overnight hours, though, that's about it. We get into Tuesday. The heat starts to build again. The sun shining across much of Manitoba and northwestern Ontario throughout the day on Tuesday, and into Tuesday evening, a warm night ahead. Things start to change as we get into Wednesday. We have this approaching low pressure system, which will start to spread some rain into the northwest part of the province, and perhaps some scattered showers pop up on Wednesday here in the south. But tonight for Winnipeg, partly cloudy. Again, there's a risk of thunderstorms with a slight chance of showers, otherwise a low of 15 degrees. These east winds, 20 gusting to 40, will begin to diminish around 8, 9 o'clock tonight, and they should be fairly light through the overnight hours, only to strengthen again by tomorrow around the noon hour. But until then in the morning, 17 degrees, mix of sun and cloud, winds out of the southeast at 15 kilometers an hour. But once we pass midday, look for those winds to strengthen out of the southeast up to about 30 kilometers an hour with some stronger wind gusts up to 50. Still a mix of sun and cloud, still a hot high of 28 degrees when the normal high for this time of year for Winnipeg is closer to 15. The UV index for the city tomorrow, Tuesday, is 4 or moderate. Up into the northeast tonight, we'll see increasing cloud around Churchill, dropping down to 7 degrees there. Partly cloudy for Gillam, 6, 8, just a few clouds over Island Lake. Thompson drops right to 1, fairly clear there. Sunny and 19 in Thompson tomorrow. A little windy for Island Lake, but all the way up to 23 degrees. Gillam, 20, 14 for Churchill. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. In the northwest tonight, clear for most areas. Partly cloudy for Lynn Lake, dropping down to 5. Other areas too, 6, 8 degrees. Flin Flon, the Paw, Norway House. Sunshine or a mix of sun and cloud around the region tomorrow. Temperatures in the upper teens, low 20s. In the southwest tonight, Swan River drops all the way down to 2 under a clear sky. Dauphin clear and 8. Not quite as cool for Brandon and Neepawa. A few clouds, 11 degrees there. Sunny and windy around the region tomorrow with those southeast winds blowing through your communities as well, but bringing the heat. 30 degrees for Brandon and Neepawa. 28, 29 degrees for Dauphin and Swan River. Winnipeg in the southeast tonight, best chance of showers is around Sprague, down to 12 there. Low chance for the rest of the region. Overnight lows between, say, 13 and 15 degrees. And then tomorrow, a lesser chance of showers to the south and to the east of the city. Otherwise, a mix of sun and cloud, temperatures in the mid-20s and or the upper 20s, really. And in northwestern Ontario, varying amounts of cloud tonight, 12, 13 degrees, and then a chance of showers there tomorrow with highs in the low to mid-20s. Now, this first photo is from Ed. I thought those red Adirondack chairs and that red canoe looked just beautiful, very picturesque. This was out at High Lake, right near the Manitoba-Ontario border. Now, take a close look at this photo. This is from JC. This looks out over Flin Flon. Now, JC pointed out how beautiful the fall colors are in the foreground, contrasted with the devastation from the wildfires in the background. Quite the image there. Send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Calls to close ethics loopholes within the federal government. The hearing about to get underway in Ottawa and what's at stake. Plus, it's a rare neurological condition that mainly affects girls. How a local group is trying to get more people to be aware of Rett syndrome. For the first time in 12 years, the House of Commons Ethics Committee is reviewing the Federal Conflict of Interest Act. And a watchdog group is calling on the Prime Minister to reenact the PM Code of Ethics for ministers and their staff. Duff Conacher is the co-founder of Democracy Watch, a nonprofit and nonpartisan citizen advocacy group. And Duff is actually testifying before the Ethics Committee on this Wednesday. Duff, good to speak with you.
Good to talk with you as well. Thanks.
First, maybe give us an idea of why you feel it's important the Prime Minister's Code of Ethics is reenacted.
Well, there's a law called the Conflict of Interest Act, but then there's also a code. And a lot of the key rules are in the code, and they really should be in the law. But what happened was when Prime Minister Harper made it into a law about 20 years ago, he put these rules into a code and essentially said, oh, I'll enforce that. But the Ethics Commissioner considers that the code is required to be followed by cabinet ministers and other top government officials and cabinet staff. And what is happening right now is Prime Minister Carney became the new Liberal Prime Minister, and the code he has up on his website is from 2015 and signed by Justin Trudeau. And so this raises the question about whether he's planning to cancel that code or weaken it. I mean, why has he not reenacted it in his own name and sent his own message to all his ministers and top government officials that they have to follow these very strict and strong rules in this code and not just comply with the very weak and loophole-filled rules that are in the federal government ethics law.
You know, this is interesting because Carney himself has come under some heat for conflict of interest. I'm sure that's some of your concern here.
Very much so, because while the code has a strong rule that says you can't be even in the appearance of a conflict of interest, the law has a huge loophole that says as long as you're dealing with something that applies generally, and 99% of the decisions the cabinet ministers make and the Prime Minister makes apply generally because they change general laws, they set up general taxes that apply to lots of people, subsidies, tax credits, those kinds of things, spending programs. They're all very general. And what the law says is you can't be in a conflict of interest if you're dealing with a matter that applies generally. And that's a giant loophole. It means that the federal ethics law does not apply 99% of the time to the decisions and actions of the Prime Minister and cabinet ministers and other top government officials. And so it really should be called the almost impossible to be in a conflict of interest act. And that's very serious. And that's why we need this code enacted, because it has stronger rules and stronger ethical standards that would apply to the Prime Minister and his many financial conflicts of interest and other cabinet ministers as well.
Are you able to point to any specifics that these loopholes have enabled you're concerned about?
Well, Prime Minister Carney has already participated in decisions that affect Brookfield, this huge conglomerate company which he was on the board of and owns stock options in. So he has shares, investments in this huge company that affects 103 other companies, according to the statement that he's set up with the Ethics Commissioner. And then he also has financial investments in 550 other companies. And so pretty much every time Mark Carney makes a decision that affects business or participates in any discussion about a matter that would affect business, he's in a financial conflict of interest. But the Act says he's allowed to do that as long as what he's talking about applies generally. And again, 99% of what they would be talking about would be about changing a general law, a general tax. And so the law essentially exempts him from this financial conflict of interest, even though he has it. And that's a very dangerous situation. It essentially allows him to do what we've seen Donald Trump do in the States, which is profit from his own position as Prime Minister by making decisions that'll help all the companies he's invested in, Brookfield especially, and then their share prices go up and his investment value of his investments goes up. So that's how wide open it is. It's the sad joke of a law, and we need the law loopholes closed. And we need the code reenacted by Carney so that very strong and strict rules apply that ensure ethical government decision makings and ensure that cabinet ministers can't and the Prime Minister can't profit from their own decisions.
Well, we know you will be making this case before the Ethics Committee on Wednesday. Duff, I want to thank you so much for your time. It was great speaking with you.
Thank you. I'll keep you updated. There's a dozen other loopholes in the law that need to be closed, and I'll keep you updated as the committee continues its review.
Sounds good. Looking forward to touching base again.
Thank you.
Rett syndrome is a rare neurological condition that mainly affects girls. It causes severe challenges such as difficulties with speech, movement, and hand use. Sunday, the Manitoba Rett Syndrome Association held its annual Ride or Stride event at Kings Park in Fort Richmond. Organizers say raising awareness for this rare disorder is the main but not only goal.
So we want to make people aware what Rett syndrome is, but we also want people to know that our daughters and our kids are more than just their diagnosis. They're amazing individuals who are smart and awesome and wonderful.
Organizers add many kids with Rett syndrome don't get credit for their intelligence because they tend to be nonverbal. According to the association, about 22 Manitobans live with Rett syndrome. Sunday marked World Rabies Day, and hundreds of pet owners lined up at Valor Community Center for free vaccinations. The Winnipeg Humane Society, Feed the Fur Babies Canada, and Veterinarians Without Borders teamed up to host the free clinic. The clinic offered rabies, distemper, and parvo shots. Some basic procedures such as flea and ear mite treatments were also available. Volunteers and staff set up before sunrise, preparing for a full day of service.
I think the demand is there, and last year we had over 326 animals vaccinated in one day, and unfortunately we had to turn some people away, so this year we made it even bigger, and we're hoping to vaccinate even more. We're hoping to make this an annual event. World Rabies Day is always September 28th.
Organizers say the event highlights the connection between animal and human health. Last year, 326 vaccines were administered.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
Coming up, why Polo Park looked more like Hollywood than a shopping mall Friday. The movie being shot here in Winnipeg and where one of the stars was spotted. The Spotlight is next.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Honeymoon Suite with guest Lee Aaron.
Caution tape, an ambulance, and police vehicles blocked off an entrance to CF Polo Park Friday night, but it's not what you might think. Crews were at work filming scenes for Violent Night 2. The sequel, starring David Harbour and Kristen Bell, is filming here in Winnipeg. It's been taking over other local spaces, such as Portage Place Mall in August. And speaking of David Harbour, it looks like he's making the most of his time here in Winnipeg. Harbour's best known for roles like Hopper in Stranger Things and Red Guardian in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But it looks like perhaps we can add Winnipeg Jets fan to his resume. Harbour and Violent Night 2 co-star Joe Pantoliano cheered on the Jets at Canada Life Centre Saturday night alongside thousands of other Jets fanatics. Violent Night 2 hits theaters December 2026. Model trains, remote-controlled aircraft, and Hot Wheels. The Manitoba Train and Hobby Expo drew crowds over the weekend. The event came to Red River Exhibition Place over the weekend. From miniature trains to Lego cities, families, hobbyists, and enthusiasts got to see a wide range of displays. Some of the demos and vendors were from Saskatchewan and Ontario. Organizers say the event is about more than just hobbies.
It's about community. This is one way we can give back to the community and get the community involved with each other and get the young kids outside doing things, playing with trains. It's just a matter of family. Everybody's here got to be family. You know, friendly Manitoba, got to stick together.
It's a once in a yearly thing for fans across Manitoba to come here and see this place. Like, this place is amazing.
Organizers added that the participation from clubs outside of Manitoba strengthens interprovincial ties and friendship. Start off the week with some great entertainment, beginning at 7 with The Voice, and at 9, put your knowledge to the test with Celebrity Weakest Link. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The Winnipeg Jets are lacing up a new line of merch. We'll tell you all about it when we return.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S Antique Spa Salon.
Warm out there, 22 degrees, still quite sunny. Winds starting to ease up a bit, but still sustained 29 kilometers an hour. You'll feel that out of the east-northeast, but those winds will diminish a little later on this evening. Quick check of the almanac. Yes, it was very warm, unseasonably so, but this is not becoming so unusual as of late. On this day a year ago, 28.2 degrees, the highest temperature, and the record was set just 4 years ago for this day, 31.5 degrees. Tonight, still a risk of thunderstorms past midnight, 15 or low, otherwise partly cloudy. Tuesday, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, or Orange Shirt Day, hot, 28 degrees, mix of sun and cloud. 27 on Wednesday, the first day of October, sunny, and 28 on Thursday, merrily Friday, 22 and cloudy, and then temperatures start to get closer to normal over the weekend.
Thanks, Colleen. The Winnipeg Jets are trading in hockey skates for high-top sneakers. The club and clothing company Mondetta had released a limited edition sneaker called the TN1. Now, in true Jets fashion, the kicks are white and celebrate the team's heritage and sense of hometown pride. They only made 600 pairs of these high tops, though, so the shoes definitely considered a collector's item, and rightfully so. Brace yourself, they come with a $299 price tag.
There it is.
The Jets kick off its 15th season on October 9th at home against the Dallas Stars. Maybe we'll see some fans sporting those fancy new sneakers.
I sure hope so.
Hopefully save your allowance.
That's
You'll
right.
need it.
Go Jets,
They do
go.
look good, though.
They do look great.
They look great, yeah. All right, that does it for us tonight. Have a good one.